Islamic Golden Age, preservation of Greek texts, advances in algebra, astronomy, and medicine.
Did you know that some of the greatest thinkers of ancient Greece, like Aristotle and Plato, owe a huge debt to scholars from the Islamic world? It's a fascinating story of how knowledge was saved from being lost forever. Picture this. Europe is in what many call the Dark Ages. Libraries are scarce, and many of the brilliant texts from ancient Greece are fading into obscurity. But far away, in flourishing cities like Baghdad, a golden age of learning is dawning. At the heart of this was the legendary House of Wisdom. It wasn't just a library. It was a vibrant hub of intellectual activity. Here, dedicated Muslim scholars embarked on a massive project, translating the works of Greek masters like Aristotle, Plato, Euclid, and the father of medicine, Hippocrates, into Arabic. They didn't just copy the texts. They studied, debated, and added their own brilliant insights, expanding on these ancient ideas. For centuries, these Arabic translations were the primary keepers of this incredible intellectual flame. While much of Europe was in a period of relative stagnation, Greek philosophy, science, and mathematics were being preserved and enriched within the Islamic world. So, what happened next? Fast forward to the European Renaissance. As contact between Europe and the Islamic world increased, these precious Arabic translations began making their way back. They were translated into Latin, reintroducing Europe to the profound wisdom of the ancient Greeks. This influx of knowledge was like fuel on a fire, helping to spark the incredible cultural and scientific rebirth of the Renaissance. It fundamentally reshaped European thought, art, and science. Now you might be wondering, how does this ancient journey of knowledge connect to a place like the Philippines? The link is clearer than you might think. When Spanish and later American colonizers arrived, they brought with them a system of Western education. This system was built upon the foundations of the European Renaissance, a Renaissance that, as we've seen, was heavily influenced by the Greek knowledge preserved and transmitted by Islamic scholars. Did you know that every time you solve for X in math class, you're using a concept that traveled across oceans and through centuries? Let us dive into the fascinating history of algebra and astronomy and see how they connect to places as far as the Philippines. Our journey begins in the Islamic Golden Age with the brilliant scholar Al-Khwarizmi. He wrote a groundbreaking book, and from his title, Algebra, we get the word algebra. This wasn't just about solving equations. It was a revolutionary way of thinking, a universal language of numbers and symbols that would change the world forever. But the innovation didn't stop there. Scholars were also looking up at the stars. They made incredible leaps in trigonometry and developed complex algorithms. Why? To create better calendars, to tell time with astonishing precision, and to navigate the vast open seas. They built massive observatories, mapping the heavens and refining our understanding of how celestial bodies move. These weren't just abstract pursuits. They were practical tools that powered exploration and trade. Think about it. Better star charts and improved navigation techniques meant sailors could travel further and more accurately than ever before. And this is where the story takes a turn towards Southeast Asia. Long before the Spanish galleons arrived, these very advancements in astronomy and navigation guided Muslim traders across the Indian Ocean. Their ships, navigated by the stars using knowledge honed in Baghdad and Samarkand, found their way to the beautiful islands of the Philippines. They landed in areas we now know as Mindanao and the Sulu archipelago, bringing with them not just goods to trade, but also their rich culture and faith. This early contact laid the foundation for the vibrant Islamic heritage that thrives in the southern Philippines today. It is an incredible testament to how a breakthrough in mathematics and a deeper understanding of the cosmos can ripple through history, connecting distant civilizations and shaping the cultural tapestry of nations. Did you know that many of the medical practices we take for granted today have roots stretching back over 1,000 years to the Islamic Golden Age? It's a fascinating story of innovation that shaped the world. Let's start with a giant in medical history, Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna in the West. He was a Persian polymath whose masterpiece, The Canon of Medicine, became one of the most important medical textbooks ever written. For centuries from the Middle East to Europe, if you were a doctor, this was your guide. It was a comprehensive encyclopedia covering diseases, treatments, and pharmacology with incredible detail. But the contributions didn't stop with one book. This era saw the birth of the hospital as we know it, not just a place for the sick to go, but an institution for healing, teaching, and research. These were systematic, organized centers that treated patients regardless of their background. They introduced concepts that are fundamental today, like medical ethics, patient records, and separating different wards for different illnesses to prevent cross-contamination. Pioneering physicians of the time championed ideas that sound very modern. They stressed the importance of hygiene, both for the patient and the doctor. They promoted careful observation and diagnosis, moving away from superstition and towards a more scientific approach. They conducted early forms of clinical trials and medical experiments to test the effectiveness of different treatments, laying the groundwork for evidence-based medicine. Early surgical methods were also developed and refined, with new instruments and procedures being documented for future generations. Now you might be wondering, how does this ancient history connect to us today? For example, in a place like the Philippines, the link is surprisingly direct. When Western medicine was introduced to the Philippines, it wasn't created in a vacuum. The medical knowledge that arrived had already been profoundly shaped by these very traditions from the Islamic Golden Age. This knowledge then blended with the rich, pre-existing Filipino healing practices, creating a unique medical culture. Even now, the way medical education is structured, the emphasis on systematic learning, clinical practice, and ethical conduct, reflects the organizational methods first established during that golden era. So, the very roots of modern education in the Philippines, and indeed around the world, are intertwined with this incredible legacy. When you look up at the night sky or tackle an algebra problem, remember the ancient scholars and seafaring traders. Their quest for knowledge truly reached for the stars and connected the world in ways we're still uncovering today. When you visit a hospital or talk to a doctor, remember the long and incredible journey that knowledge has taken. It's a testament to how human ingenuity, shared across cultures and centuries, continues to heal and improve our lives. This era reminds us that knowledge is a gift, shared across generations and cultures. Muslim scholars weren't just guardians of ancient wisdom. They were innovators. Their dedication preserved and dramatically advanced science, math, and medicine, laying the groundwork for future breakthroughs. Their influence wasn't confined to the Middle East either. It sparked a renaissance in Europe and even reached the Philippines, where early Islamic education and cultural exchanges enriched the nation's intellectual diversity. Today, this incredible legacy inspires us to keep learning, discovering, and sharing what we know. Just like the great scholars of the Golden Age, we can all contribute to the world's collective wisdom.